Hello, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Arbilio, and I am your teacher for today. May I request Ms. Mendoza to lead us in prayer? Amen. And now I will going to check the attendance. So kindly open your cameras for me to be able to recognize you that you are present for today's class. Very good. I think everyone is present for today. And now I will tell you what are the classroom rules. Number one, be on time for class. One of the most important online classroom rules is to be on time for class. The next one, dress appropriately. Choose your study space. No eating or drinking. Be prepared. No phones or toys during class. Raise your hands. And now, as a recap for our previous discussion, we will have a game entitled Guess the Picture. You're going to do is, you're going to guess the following pictures about the different embroidery stitches. So anyone from the class can discuss what is embroidery stitches. Yes, Ms. Mendoza. Very good. Embroidery stitches are the smallest unit in stitches or embroidery. So embroidery pattern are formed by doing many embroidery stitches. And now let's proceed to our game. So anyone from the class can guess the number one picture. It is a kind of embroidery stitches. Yes, Ms. Cudino. Very good. It is cross stitch. How about the second picture? Ms. Sagatao. Very good. It is back stitch. How about the third photo, Ms. Sephra? Very good. It is satin stitch. How about the last picture, Ms. Katubig? Very good. It is chain stitch. I think you know already what are the different kinds of embroidery stitches, and you are probably ready for our next discussion. But before we proceed to our next discussion, we will have first an activity entitled Picture Analysis. So I will show you a picture. So we have here are two pictures. You're going to do is to discuss or tell what are your insights or idea about that photos. So Ms. Mendoza, do you have any insights or idea about the first picture? Very good. The picture shows a lady who doing her embroidery using machine stitch or machine work. How about the second picture, Ms. Cudino? Very good. The picture shows a lady who doing her embroidery using handwork. So I have here a question in relation to our discussion for today or our activity for today. So number one question, what is your idea about the picture? So the picture shows the difference between machine work and handwork. The number two question, if you are tasked to create your own embroidery, which do you prefer to do it thoroughly? Handwork or machine work? Very good. If you want to done it easily, your embroidery, you must do is to use machine so that you can embroider things easily. And now let's proceed to our new discussion entitled Development of Embroidery. So here's our objectives. So at the end of the lesson, the student will be able to determine the tools and materials used in embroidery, its uses and maintenance. Recognize the tools and materials used in embroidery. Utilize the tools and materials used in embroidery. So development of Philippine embroidery. So Philippine embroidery or embroidery is ornamentation of textiles and other materials with needlework for personal use and decorations, not only at home, but also for offices as well. The term embroidery is an English word derived from the Old French embroider, meaning edge or border. Then embroidery was introduced into the Orient by the Netherlanders in the 15th century. It was brought by the Spaniard into the Philippines, where it has made a wonderful growth. And work done is rival the best work done in Switzerland. Then, a country noted for the exquisite embroidery. So embroidery reaches its highest development during the Middle Ages. The nun in the convent were the first to make article with embroidery work during their leisure time. So since then, it became so popular that women started to enjoy it, creating design of their own. In the beginning, the embroideries were done by hand. But since the advent of the technology and the invention of the sewing machine, people are now engaged in machine embroidery. Today, because of the fast growing of industry, elegance of designs and fitness of workmanship, Filipinos export articles with embroidery work. Embroidery work is best achieved. It's perfect or correct tools and materials used. So tools refer to small or handy devices or instruments used in sewing, while materials or supplies are those that are consumed in finished or product. Then here are the tools that can be used in embroidery. So can kindly please familiarize the photos. So the number one photo will be the gouge, tape measure, thimbles, pouch, embroidery hoop, embroidery scissors, needle threader, crewel, chenille, tapestry needle, brush, concussion, tracing paper, and sewing box. So below are the tools and materials used in embroidery, its uses and maintenance. So number one is gouge. So gouge is used to measure short distances, and tape measure used for measuring more than 1 foot distance of or the materials. Then thimbles made from metal or plastic protected or protect the middle finger and push the needle while doing your embroidery work. Then embroidery hoop or stiletto. So made of wood bones, metal or plastic used to make eyelets and the fabric to be embroidered. Then the next one is embroidery scissors. Is small, sharp, and pointed, good for line work used for trimming scallops, clipping threads, and cutting large eyelets. Then the next one is needle threader. Is used for easier threading, especially by those sewers with poor eyesight. Then the next one is punch. It's a fine powder used to transferring design by pricking method. Then the next one is embroidery needle. A short pieces of steel with a fine point at one end and a little opening or eye at the other. The next is crewel. Size 1 to 10 are sharp pointed, medium length with large eye. On easily threading, they are used for most standard embroidery stitchery. Then the next one is chenille, size 13 to 26. Are also sharp pointed needle, but they are thicker and longer and have large eye. Then the next one is tapestry needle. It's from size 13 to 26. They are smaller in size to chenille, but are blunt rather than sharp. Then the next one is watercolor brush, used for transferring the design using pricking and punching method. Then the next one is pin cushion, a place for pins and needles. Tracing paper, used for tracing design. Then the next one is sewing box, used to keep together the embroidery tools and materials. Then the last one, tools that can be used in embroidery, which will be the bag. To keep work clean and fresh, have a bag made from washable materials to hold your work when not busy in it. Then here are the materials. So we have here 3 kinds of fabric, which are common weave, even weave, and basket weave. So here are the materials. So number one is the fabric, sometimes referred to as cloth, are greatly variety and they differ in materials, weight, weave, design, color, and to finish. So here are the three types of fabric. Number one, common weave, include most fighty woven fabric, which are relatively smooth surface like linen, wool, and cotton. They are best used for artisans with decorative stitches. So even weave are intended for hard danger embroidery since the number of threads per square inches is same from the both wrap or wove. So basket weave is commonly used by beginner and remy linen by those who have been used in the embroidery. So number two, thread is available in various types. They are different in terms of texture, fiber, content, number, and strands and colors. Threads are usually coded in numbers and colors and name. They can be both in skeins, balls, or spools. The color of the thread should suit in the color of the textile of the design and the fabric to be embroidered. So we have here the guide to apparel textile to care symbols. So we have here the wash symbols, bleach symbols, dry symbols, and iron symbols. And the last one is the dry symbols. And now let's proceed to the proper care of embroidery thread. So as one of the most essential elements to stitching process, it is important to ensure proper and careful care of embroidery threads. Store it properly under the controlled condition to avoid the following issues. So number one, thread dents. So when a cone falls onto the floor, the point of impact can dent the thread, resulting in a weak spot or spot that can ultimately lead to the problem as the thread travels toward the needle. The next one is discoloring or fading. Threads essentially ryan with fade when exposed to sunlight for extended period of time. Then length build up. Threads that sit out, exposed from the elements of your shop's environment, are prone to dust and lint building up. And now let's apply. So anyone from the class can give me what are the tools and materials that can be used in embroidery? Yes, Ms. Mendoza, what are the tools and materials that can be used in embroidery? Very good. Gouge, tape measure, and thimbles. And now, I have here a questions. So number one, what is embroidery and its importance? So anyone from the class? Yes, Ms. Pedino. Very good. Embroidery can be handiwork or machine work. It is essential the decoration of fabric using a needle and thread. It is a skill passed from the generation to generation and hand growth from a mere skills that few people have always practiced. So embroidery has garms significant undertake many countries. And the next one is, next question will be, what is the importance of Philippine embroidery? So it continues to be, so number two question will be, what is the importance of Philippine embroidery? So anyone? Yes, Ms. Zafra. Very good. It continues to be the lifeblood of people who send many young talent to the school. Aside from being important to the people of Taal, embroidery has become the lifeline of the people. It has also played roles in tourism. Many tourism got amazed when they see the different embroidery fabulations of the Taal. Then the next question will be, what is the importance of embroidery in our daily life? Yes, Ms. Mendoza. Very good. It keeps you fine motor skills sharp and your mind focused. So hand embroidery helps many of us to focus, keeping worries and the chaotic thoughts of our daily life away. It is motivated, it is meditative and has been used for therapeutic method to improve mental and emotional health. So, and now we will have an activity entitled Define Me. So define the tools used in embroidery. So we have here an example. So at the first column, you're going to do is to put name of the tool used in embroidery. So number one example here, we have measuring tape. Then the second column will be the picture of the certain tool. Then the third column will be the definition and use of that certain tool. And lastly, as your assignment entitled Show What You've Got. Create a 5-minute video, record yourself using any tools in embroidery, define it and demonstrate its use. Then later on, if you're through with your video making, they'll submit it to my Gmail account that was flashed on your screen. So I think that would be all for today. Goodbye, class.